I'm Erin York, an educational and behavior consultant for the Provincial Outreach Program for Autism and Related Disorders. Welcome to an overview of PECS, the third in a series of modules about Picture Exchange Communication System, developed by Pyramid Educational Consultants. This series is meant to be an overview of PECS and should not be considered a training video. The Picture Exchange Communication System, also known as PECS, consists of 6 phases. Phase 1, how to communicate. Phase 2, distance and persistence. Phase 3, picture discrimination. Phase 4, sentence structure and expanding communication by using attributes. Phase 5, responding to questions such as what do you want? And Phase 6, commenting. Each phase in the PECS protocol is systematically taught using specific strategies, including teaching, reinforcement, error correction, and generalization strategies, based on the principles of applied behavior analysis. All students begin in Phase 1, where they are taught the rules of communication by learning to initiate communication by approaching a communicative partner to deliver a message and receive the requested item in return. The objective in Phase 1 is for the student to pick up a picture of a highly preferred item, reach towards the communicative partner's hand, and release the picture into the hand. In this phase, it is not important that a student tells the difference or discriminates between the pictures. It is important that the most preferred reinforcers are already identified and that the student will go first in initiating a request for the desired object. Allowing the student to initiate will help teach spontaneity in the communication exchange. It is essential that 2 trainers be used in Phase 1. One person will assume the role of the communicative partner, and one person will be the physical prompter sitting behind the student. The communicative partner silently entices the student by holding up the reinforcing item and waits for the student to reach for the item. The physical prompter provides a physical prompt of the pickup, reach, and release of the picture symbol into the hand of the communicative partner. Once a student is independently exchanging a picture symbol for desired items, then the next phase can begin. In Phase 2, the student learns to be persistent and travel longer distances to communicate. In this example, the student goes to the communication book, pulls off the picture, goes to the communicative partner, gets her attention, and releases the picture into her hand. In this phase, we teach students to be persistent by arranging for their communicative initiations to be a little more difficult each time. The student learns to go to the communication book or picture symbol when they have something to communicate, and to go to the communicative partner to give the picture symbol. The student will be taught persistence by getting the attention of the communicative partner when their back is turned. The student will be taught to carry the book to different locations and rooms and to generalize these skills across people, places, and materials.
Marshmallow.
Phase 2 is revisited throughout the remaining phases of PECS. In Phase 3, the student learns to discriminate between specific picture symbols, which means they learn to choose the correct picture symbol. By the end of Phase 3, students request the items they want by going to a communication book, opening the communication book, and as you can see in this video, selecting the appropriate picture from an array of pictures, then traveling to the communicative partner and giving the picture symbol that corresponds to the desired item. There are 2 parts in Phase 3. Simple discrimination, which teaches discrimination between preferred and non-preferred pictures, and complex discrimination, which teaches discrimination among multiple pictures of preferred items. If a student makes an error when learning discrimination, then the systematic error correction procedure, called the 4-step error correction procedure, is used as a way to optimize discrimination training. During simple discrimination, a picture of a highly preferred item and a non-preferred item are presented along with the objects. This will give the student motivation to use the correct picture and get the highly preferred item and make a successful discrimination more likely. The student will then pick up, reach, and release the picture into the hand of the communicative partner and receive the corresponding item. If the student happens to pick up the picture of the non-preferred item, the student receives the corresponding item in return. The student is likely to react negatively to receiving the non-preferred item. When the student makes this discrimination error, then the 4-step error correction procedure is used. Once the student is accurately discriminating between a variety of preferred and non-preferred pictures, then we teach complex discrimination, the next step within Phase 3. In this stage, pictures of only preferred items are used. The communicative partner waits for the exchange and offers the item to the student.
Take it.
If the student reaches for the corresponding item, then the student gets that item. If the student reaches for the non-corresponding item, then a 4-step error correction procedure is used. When the student is discriminating among pictures and reaching inside the book and exchanging pictures of desired items throughout the day, the student has learned this phase and is ready for Phase 4. In Phase 4, the student learns to request an item by going to the communication book, picking up the picture of I want, and placing it on the sentence strip. Then putting the picture of the desired item on the sentence strip, and taking the sentence strip off the book and handing it to the communicative partner.
I want turtle.
After the student has mastered constructing and exchanging the sentence strip, she can be taught to read the sentence strip.
I want monkey.
At this point, some students may be encouraged to begin to speak through a delayed prompting procedure. Once the student has mastered Phase 4, the student is taught to use attributes and descriptive vocabulary, and Phase 5, responding to what do you want. First, we'll take a look at teaching attributes, and next, responding to what do you want. When teaching attributes, begin by using what is most motivating for a student, requesting an object or item with a particular attribute. Students do not need to know or understand all of the attribute concepts before beginning attributes. They do not need to be able to label any attributes, such as responding to touch yellow, before beginning this part of PECS. To establish motivation, we must first identify which attributes are important to the student by conducting a reinforcer assessment. Think about a variety of attributes, such as size, color and shape, texture, speed, body parts, action, position, and the preferences the student has shown for each for a variety of items. The student can also be taught to combine attributes and apply attributes to many settings across a school day. Phase 5, responding to questions such as what do you want? This teaches the student to request in a responsive format and leads to commenting. The communicative partner will pose the question, what do you want? And over successive trials, the time between the presentation of the cue, what do you want, and the prompt gets longer and longer until the student independently responds to the question. It is also important during this phase to ensure the student maintains spontaneity, which has been taught in the previous phases. By the end of Phase 5, the student will respond to questions such as what do you want, and make spontaneous requests. In Phase 6, the student will learn the skill of commenting. Unlike requesting, commenting results in social reinforcement instead of tangible reinforcement. The two types of commenting in Phase 6 are responsive commenting and spontaneous commenting. Recall that in Phase 5, students are taught to respond to, "What do you want?" In Phase 6, we take advantage of this ability to respond to a simple question and begin by teaching responsive commenting. The student will be taught to respond to a simple question, such as, "What do you see?" After the student learns to use responsive commenting, strategies will be introduced that encourage spontaneous commenting. By the end of Phase 6, the student will be able to answer, "What do you want? What do you see? What do you have? What do you hear? And what is it?" In addition, the student will be making spontaneous requests and comments and using attributes. In this video, the student is asked, "How many blocks do you see?" He counts the blocks and builds a sentence strip. In these 6 phases of PECS, students have been taught to use functional communication skills that are essential for independent functioning at school, home, and in the community. Often people ask, when can a student transition from PECS? The answer is simply this: students will tell us when they are ready to transition from PECS. Here are some criteria that can be used as a guide. The student's vocabulary in the new modality should equal their PECS vocabulary. Initiation and length of utterances are the same between PECS and the new modality. There is at least 80% intelligibility to the untrained or unfamiliar listener. In addition to teaching students to request using PECS, other functional communication skills that can be taught include requesting help, saying no or yes, requesting a break, learning to wait, following directions, transitioning between activities, and following a schedule. Functional communication is important to students. Continue to create many opportunities for students to request and comment with a variety of people in a variety of locations using many different materials. Always ensure students have their communication book in all settings, as this is their voice. I'm Erin York, an Education and Behavior Consultant with the Provincial Outreach Program for Autism and Related Disorders. Thank you for watching an overview of PECS. We also thank Donna Banzoff from Pyramid Educational Consultants for her contribution and collaboration for this module. I hope you join me as we discuss getting ready for PECS and tips for PECS success in upcoming modules in this series. For further information about PECS training, please visit the Pyramid Educational Consultants website.